Exception handling we were doing, I think. At least give me reply that what we were doing. जावा में लास्ट में क्या किया था? So we were doing exception handling, right? Okay, so let's continue with it. We have seen that we have checked exception and unchecked exception. At runtime, we can manage the unchecked exception. If we don't want that our program should be abnormally terminated, then we have to manage the exception. To manage the exception, we need to put the code in which the error can occur in which block. अगर मुझे एक्सेप्शन मैनेज करवाने हैं तो जहाँ पे एरर अकर हो सके ऐसा वाला जो कोड होता है प्रोग्राम का, उसे हम कहाँ पे रखेंगे?
Try.
ट्राई ब्लॉक. परफेक्ट. Yes, in the try block. Okay. Now, one try can have how many catch? Can it have only one catch or multiple catch block? One try block can have multiple catch block. Okay. Now, other thing, there is a finally block. Every try block can have only one finally block. Finally means that the statements which we put in a finally block has to be executed either the error occurs or not. Whether error occur or not, it's immaterial. Finally block has to be executed. So whatever code if you want that it should be executed compulsorily, that you should put in a finally block. Okay, so now let's see how to do that. Let's make which catch block it should execute. Okay, so for that let's make one program. Let's check that how the program goes from one function to another. Now it will go in the same series to find the catch block. Okay, so see this program carefully. I'm presenting the screen and let's see how it works. Okay, so let's make one program class exception. Okay, now public static void main string ups try system dot out dot print ln before a. A. After a. Fetch function dot message. Let's see whether this function is there or not. Now let's have public A. Again, the same code. Now, but instead of A, let's call B. Now let's have function B. Now let's call C before C, after C, index out of counts. You need to check the names. There shouldn't be any spelling mistakes in it, and capital जहाँ पे जो होना चाहिए उतना वो characters capital ही होने चाहिए. Okay? Now let's have one more function C. Public void public C try integer array equal to new int 4 array of 2 equal to 20 array of 14 equal to 100 catch number format exception system dot out dot print ln e dot get message. So much Jana, I am writing all this for all of you only. Finally, system dot out dot print ln c completed What should be the output of this? See this program carefully and tell me what should be the output of this. Should I reduce the font size? Then it might fit. Still, it's not fitting. We have the exception class. It have the function A, B, C. We have the main function. Main function is calling A is calling B is calling C. In C, we are having an array and we are trying to access the array whose index is out of bound. But here the catch is written for the number format exception. So what will be done? क्या होगा? चलो एक एक करके जाते हैं. आउटपुट में सबसे पहले क्या आना चाहिए? What should come in our output? बताओ. What should come in our output? Program will start from here. Program always starts from where?
Main
Main function. So what is written first thing in main? Array index out of bound exception. Then the B is, or you can say after C will be displayed. Okay, so here it will display after C. No, it will not display after C because error was caused, which is caught in the catch block. So here it will just show you finally that is B completed. अब B complete हो गया तो कहाँ जाएगा? B function complete हो गया तो अब वो कहाँ जाएगा?
A में.
A में. अब यहाँ पे कोई error नहीं है. That is already managed in a B function. So when it returns from the B function, there are no errors left. It is already managed by the catch block. So now it will display after B. Then it will display A completed. It will move to your main function. Here it will display A में भी कोई error नहीं है. So it will display after A and main completed. Are you getting it? जब तक उसे मैचिंग एक्सेप्शन नहीं मिलेगा वो कॉलिंग मेथड में जाके भी उन एक्सेप्शंस को ढूंढता है. That's how it match the catch block. If it is not present in the C function, it will See here, before A, before B, before C. Now C complete. Just a minute. It's not, it didn't fire an error. Just a minute. No, it fired the error. सही है, सही है. It's showing you in e dot message, it is showing you 14. Array index out of bound error, it is showing you 14. That index you are trying to search is 14. Basically, e dot get message is a function in the exception class. In your base exception class, it shows you the type of error and the message along with it. You can see both the things. Let me show you. See here. If you only write E, okay, if you only write E, that is your error, actual error, or you can say exception object. E is your exception object. By default, there is one method that if you use only E, it will return the type of your exception, that is java.lang.array index out of bound exception. And the message along with it is 14. That is what we get, e dot get message, that you are trying to find the array index out of bound and the index value that you are going to try to access is 14. So are we getting the same which we have discussed? See here. Before A, before B, before C, C completed, then your exception, then B completed, after B, A completed, after A and main completed. As I said, whether you have an exception or not, finally clause will be executed every time. If we write only E, it shows you the type of your exception, and get message is the message which is passed along with the exception by your Java runtime environment. We are not writing anything in it. If you want, you can give here your own custom message. If you want, you can use the message given by your runtime environment. E.get message is using the message given by the runtime environment. Clear up to this, everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Suppose here, instead of having this, suppose we have this exception, then what will happen? Now what should be your output in this program? What will be your output now? चलो बताओ, कहाँ से स्टार्ट होगा पहले?
main,
मेन. मेन में सबसे पहले क्या लिखेगा?
before,
Before A. Then it will move to the A function. A में क्या पहले होगा? Before
Before B.
B. Now B will be called. Now B will be called. What will happen in B?
Before C.
Before C will be called. Then C में जाएगा.
Then
We are trying to divide by 0. Is it allowed or it will raise an exception?
Raise an exception.
Raise an exception. Which type of exception will be raised?
Arithmetic.
Arithmetic exception. Do we have a catch for arithmetic exception over here?
No.
No. So what it will call? कैच तो कर नहीं पाएगा तो वो कॉलिंग फंक्शन में जाएगा और वहां पे जाने से पहले वो क्या कॉल करेगा फाइनली, सो इट विल डिस्प्ले सी कंप्लीटेड. देन बी में
B
आएगा.
function.
डू वी हैव मैनेज्ड द अरिथमेटिक एक्सेप्शन इन बी?
No.
नो. सो व्हाट इट विल डू? हमने कैच तो कर नहीं पाए, एरर आया है तो आफ्टर सी तो होगा नहीं, यहां से एरर से सीधा वो कैच में जा रहा है, वहां पे जाके लिखेगा बी completed. Still there is error. Now it will search in A. Do we have arithmetic exception managed in A?
Yes.
Yes. So it will move to the catch part of the arithmetic exception. It will display here arithmetic exception. Then it can't return back and display after B. So what it will display? A completed. Then it will move to the main function. What it will do in main? Main में अब कोई error नहीं है. So it will display after A and then main completed. Okay, we should get this. Let's check it out whether we are getting it or not. See, before A, B, C completed. B is completed. Then we are getting arithmetic exception, that is divide by 0. If you say only message, I don't want to see this arithmetic exception, I only want to see the message that what error has occurred. So error occurred is divide by 0. Then A completed, after A and main completed. समझ में आया कैसे जंप होगा वो to find the respective catch block? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
fine. Now, let's see how we can generate our own exception. I'm not talking about user defined exception, but I want to raise an exception. How to raise an exception on our own. Okay, so let's have class exception demo public static void main string. I want that if the value of a number is less than 0, then it should raise arithmetic exception. Okay, so I need to put the code in try and catch. Integer I equal to -5. Just a minute, huh? Okay. So suppose my value is -5, right? Now I want to check if I less than 5, sorry, I less than 0, then I want to raise a new exception. So throw new arithmetic exception value must be positive. See, this is the message which we can display using the exception object dot message. Whatever we pass along with the exception constructor at the time of throwing an exception. This is, we are raising. Throw means we are raising an exception. ये exception actually रन टाइम एनवायरमेंट तो थ्रो कर ही नहीं सकता बिकॉज टू हैव अ इंटीजर वैल्यू कैन हैव अ नेगेटिव वैल्यू बट we don't want to have a negative value. That's why we are throwing on our own a arithmetic exception. We can create our own exceptions also. Right now I'm showing you how to throw the runtime exceptions of Java. Okay, fetch arithmetic exception e. System dot out dot println exception caught plus e. It will show that we have caught an arithmetic exception, and if I want to display only the message, we can write system dot out dot println e dot get message. E dot get message will display the message which we have written along with the exception at the time of throwing. That is, value must be positive. Let's compile it and test it. Throw means raising an exception. Remember that throw means we are raising the exception. I will show you how to create our own exception, user defined exception. That also right now we are throwing the inbuilt exception. See here. Value is less than 0, so exception is thrown and it is caught because we have written arithmetic exception, catch arithmetic. What we have written exception caught, so it is showing you exception caught. Which exception is caught? Java.lang.arithmetic exception. And along with it, the message which we have passed, that is shown, value must be positive. If I write only e.get message, it will only display me the message which we have passed, that is value must be positive. Clear? If we don't give the message at the time of throwing an exception, it will take up the default message of the arithmetic exception. Clear up to this? How to raise a runtime exception? क्या
Yes, ma'am.
ये कोई मिस्टेक है? क्या आपका जावा प्रोग्राम कभी भी इसमें एक्सेप्शन रेज करता है? इफ आई राइट I इक्वल टू -5, would Java would have raised any exception if I have written I equal to -5? No. But that is, it's kind of a error of data entry, that where I want that it should be a positive value, somebody is entering a negative value. I want to show it as an error. That's why I raised a exception, a runtime exception of Java. Clear up to this, everyone? Yes or no? Now,
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to, okay, write a program. Chalo. Write a program which run the loop. Write a program which run the loop from 10 to 50, which run the loop from 10 to 50 and increment it by 10. That is for I equal to 10, I less than equal to 50, I plus equal to 10. Okay. Run a loop from 10 to 50 and increment it by 10. Okay. Now, if the I value is 20, if the I value is 20, throw arithmetic exception. If I value is 20, throw arithmetic exception. 20 nahi, 30. If I value is 30, throw arithmetic exception. If its value is less than 30, if its value is less than 30, throw runtime exception. Throw runtime exception. Runtime में T small आता है, R capital. Runtime exception. And if the I value is greater than 30, and if I value is greater than 30, then throw null pointer exception. Then throw null pointer exception. Null pointer, N and P both are capital. Null pointer exception. Clear with the question? Everyone? क्वेश्चन समझ में आया क्या करना है? Yes or no? कोई हाँ ना कुछ बोलते नहीं हो, जो
Yes,
मैम
ma'am.
आपको समझना है तो क्या करूं? चलो बताओ. लूप तो मैंने ही आपको बता दी है. I equal to 10, I less than equal to 50, I plus plus. Now what we need to do? Now we need to raise an exception, so that has to be in try and catch. So if I is equal to 2, then what we need to do? Throw arithmetic exception. I can give a message that is arithmetic. Not 2, huh? कितना था? 30. I is equal to 30. Else, if I is less than 30, Then what we need to do? Throw runtime exception, and I can pass a message runtime. Else, if I greater than 30, then throw
through
null pointer exception and null pointer. Now we need to catch it. So catch arithmetic exception E system dot out dot println exception dot plus E dot get message. Correct? Now same way, let's catch runtime exception, and the same way let's catch null pointer exception. This is what you need to do. If I write this try for loop inside a try, it will not go for 5 times. जैसे ही exception आएगा वो बाहर आ जाएगा. That's why we are writing try and catch inside the for loop that it runs for 5 times. ओके आप करके देखना, फॉर लूप को ट्राई कैच में रख के देखना और जैसे मैंने दिखाया वैसा करके देखना. चेक इट आउट व्हाट डिफरेंस यू आर गेटिंग. Throw new arithmetic exception, throw new runtime exception. Don't forget to write new, huh? How null pointer exception has already been caught. Or better, why to write 3 different catch? Let's do one thing. Let's catch directly an exception. You will get proper messages also. चलो ये करके देखते हैं, वो तो आपको सिखाया ही था. Our exception demo. See. First you got runtime exception. Runtime कब देना था? मैंने i++ किया इसलिए वो 50 times हो रहा है. Let's do it for i plus equal to 10. See here. It's doing only now 5 times. first two time I value is less than 10, so it is showing you runtime. Then it is equal to 30, so it is showing you arithmetic, and then it is showing you null pointer. Even you can display here E, then it will show you arithmetic message. It will show you the which type of exception it is catching. See, exception class is a base of all the runtime as well as checked and unchecked exception. So if I write exception, it will be catching all type of exceptions. So here it is showing you that first two time it is runtime exception, next time it is arithmetic, and last two time it is null pointer exception. Okay, clear. Try to write the try outside the for loop and see what difference you are getting. Okay, clear up to this, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So try this out and try to do the programs. आपके assignment में, syllabus में, Java के unit